Today on Why I Kept It, it's Ladies and Gentlemen. Ladies and Gentlemen is a game I would describe myself as deeply conflicted about. I would not even call it good, but if you want to know why I've kept it, it's because I would describe it as unique. And now that sounds like a huge crutch term to use, but I'm not joking here. This is actually a very unique game. This is a partners game that I would recommend playing it with 3 or 4 sets of partners, where one side is the men and the other side is the women, and each side plays 2 completely separate games. It's a 6-turn game, and the partners, the men and the women on each side, their games cross paths at the end of each of the 6 turns, and they've got to kind of match up with their progress to make sure they're doing the right thing to get the most points. But it's not the most interesting game turn after turn. I'll give you a little bit of a primer on how it actually plays. I mean, the men game is kind of a pick and grab resource collection game. You've got these generic like resource crate tokens here, and it's a real-time scramble. They're all in a bowl, and you're going in with one hand just trying to pick them and flip them over and find out what kind of resources you get. You use these in a resource management game where you're trying to sell them for the highest price. So the men are out getting the goods in the morning. It goes to an afternoon phase where they start to see how the stock market is developing. There might be certain contract cards that come out to play, and you can make big money by selling them at the right time if you collected the right resources. Meanwhile, while you're doing all this, the ladies on the other side of the table are doing a simultaneous random like role selection game. I'm going to pick which store I'm going to go shop at. They have these little standy store tiles. You're going to pick which one you're going to go to and simultaneously reveal and try to beat each other to the store to start buying up the best dress for the ball. And that's kind of the goal of the game, is you're going to have 6 days to plan for this grand gala, and you want your lady to be in the best clothing for this event. So you've got, gloves and dresses, and there's all sorts of accessories. I think there's handbags in here somewhere too. And they have different things on them. There's a cost, there's a designer, there's just a star amount, which is its general worth. And the designer is here because there's a little bit more complicated, there's endgame scoring cards that could also be collected by the ladies, not just clothing. So the ladies will go to the stores, they'll kind of jockey to see which store they get to go to based on what's out for display and what they need, because they need to collect a complete outfit. And at the end of the day, you look across the table to your partner and you have to settle up. The lady may have picked out 3 items, the man may have only gotten, say, enough money to pay for 2 of them, and then they have a nice argument about who is going to pay for what and what has to get put back on the shelf. It's a really silly premise, but it's one of these games that it plays to stereotypes, and if you play it with couples friends, it's really fun. I would recommend playing it gender swapped. That really adds a bit of extra fun to it when you get the men arguing about who's going to get the beautiful red dress first, and the ladies telling them that they've overspent and have to put it back. That can be a bit of a kick. But the game itself, what I just described, that scrambling in the bowl, flipping over tiles and selling them, or flipping over which store you want to go to, is not incredibly fun by itself. It's not a strong game. It just has that unique gameplay that kind of makes it work. I've considered trading this for a while, but I keep coming back around to it and saying, I have gotten it to the table, not decently often, but more than a lot of other games, because the situation to play it does come up, and it does work. I mean, especially when you're flipping over these resource tokens in the bowl, right on the beginning of turn 1, it gets you acting like an idiot. You're in there with 3 or 4 other people just jamming your hand, forcing other people out of the way, trying to get the right token. It gets you social. It's a good icebreaker type game. The only caveat being, there's a bit of a meat to the game. If you've got things with set collection and massive endgame scoring bonuses, you know, maybe it's not perfect for someone who's never played a board game before, so you might be threading the needle on who this game is really for. That being said, I think you've got a good feel for why I kept it. Whether that's a good idea or not is up to you. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. I'll see you around.